Yeah. They have a summer camp, too. Archery, canoes, boating, swimming, everything.
Summertime is camping time. With buses filled with boys and girls rolling into fine Christian camps all over the country, the need for sincere young counselors is always real. Counselors are on hand to meet the bus when it pulls in. Right at the outset, each boy knows he's welcome, knows he's among real friends. Here's Jim ready to learn how Awana develops leadership. First comes registration, then assignment of cabins. And in a few minutes, the campers are on their way to their temporary homes. And it isn't long after that before they found the lake. Newcomers heading for the mess hall come on this impressive ceremonial scene. Down at the lake after supper, Jim found that boating was the most popular activity. For himself, he was satisfied to quietly watch the sunset and think over the events of the day.
Okay, let's go.
Side straddle hop. Look at 'em jump. You would too if you'd been blasted out of bed and put to calisthenics before your eyes were open. They can't stand water. That is, until it becomes part of a game. Want a rinse? Fine, start a water fight. Awana never hits the mark so squarely and so surely as at camp. 1.5 to 2 hours of intensive daily Bible study produce amazing growth in the Word.
For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to every one that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. For therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith.
Trials mark on every hand, and we cannot understand all the ways that God would lead us to that blessed promised land. But He'll guide us with His eye, and we'll follow till we die, and we'll understand it better by and by. By and by, when the morning comes, and the saints of God have their home, we will tell the story, how we overcome, and we'll understand it better by and by.
Not many campfires had flickered out before Jim knew that he'd been challenged, really challenged, by the call to leadership for Christ.
Hey, boy, looks like a hard year for the Sheriff of Nottingham. Dad, it's good to see you. Good to see you, too, son. I thought you weren't coming up until tomorrow.
I wasn't, but every letter you write makes this place sound better.
Why, Dad, those letters don't begin to do camp justice.
Well, if it's only half as good as what you say it is, it's too good to miss.
Even better. You wait and see.
You know, it must be 20 years since I used a bow.
You an archer?
Well, after a fashion. Let's see what I can do. You don't know this, Jim, but the letters you've been writing home from camp have had quite an audience.
Audience? I don't get it.
Well, I read them to the board of the church last week, and they really sat up and took notice.
I still don't get it.
You will, because they voted unanimously to set up an Awana club in our church.
You mean it, Dad? In our church?
You like it?
Like it? Say, that's great.
Of course, this means we'll be needing good leadership. We'll be needing you, Jim. How about it?
Sure, Dad. You can count on me.
That's fine. I think our church has hit the bullseye this time, don't you?
I sure do.
And speaking of bullseyes, let's see how I make out with this bow. Well, what do you know? How's that for hitting the mark?